I actually thought that the the most impressive speech of the night was Michelle Obama's,
Definitely.
and the the clip we have here is her talking about something that I know there was a lot of conservatives who found it rather disturbing to find out that the White House was built by slaves. But here is Michelle Obama, I guess apparently telling a significant portion of the country a reality that they just weren't aware of.
That is the story of this country, the story that has brought me to this stage tonight, the story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, but who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, playing with their dogs on the White House lawn. And because of Hillary Clinton, my daughters and all our sons and daughters now take for granted that a woman can be president of the United States.
You know, what strikes me about that, Sam, is that I don't think anybody's made that connection between the historical nature of Obama and Clinton that directly or effectively before at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think the sense that we're living in an era of firsts, and it represents a tremendous change. And also, I mean, there's some intersectionality there, right? Like, her daughters are the first children, I guess, and also living at an era as first children, African American first children, living in a house that, you know, was literally founded, I mean, metaphorically and literally founded on their ancestors being slaves, are now, as girls, have the opportunity to not only envision the fact that they're not, I mean, obviously they're still defined by their race in some respects, but they're not limited, I guess, or they're not slaves because of their race. They're also, the opportunity for them to be president is open despite their gender, which has not been the case for the history of this country. So, yeah, pretty amazing. The other amazing thing that I thought she had, and I don't think we have that clip, was when she talked about putting her kids into the SUV and looking at their faces that go to school, surrounded by Secret Service men, and saying, like, oh, my God, what have we done to our children?
Right.
That, I thought, was really amazing in many respects, too, because, one, it's a level of frankness about existing in that bubble that you just don't hear about, right? And there's been, you know, every president, I think, since I've been alive has had a young child in the presidency. Amy Carter, Chelsea Clinton, Jenna and Barbara Bush.
What about the Reagans? Were any of their kids of school age or no?
I think they may have been a little bit older. Maybe Patty. I'm not sure.
Reagan was already like, we don't talk to them anymore.
Right. I ignore them. But that's because I'm from Hollywood. They understand.
They get
I've got more important things to do. But to talk about that sort of fear that, like, oh, we've totally messed up our kids by following our own ambition. I mean, that's
isn't that the interesting thing about the Obamas, that for all of, like, obviously the historic nature of the presidency and for how obviously very intelligent and driven they really are, relatively speaking, exceptionally normal people. And that just
Yeah.
comes across in statements
I mean,
like that.
at least in that respect.
Yeah.
And then it was an amazingly genuine moment. And then to pivot on, you've now activated that part of the parental lizard brain, right? That is like
Yeah.
everything we do has implications with our children. You have then to slide into, do you really want your kids to have that guy be president? Like that, you're going to feel that impact. Like, this is interesting. I don't know if you remember this, Michael,
Yeah.
but in the mid-90s, the refrain we kept hearing over and over and over again is, what do we tell, how do I talk to my kids about Bill Clinton getting a blowjob in the White House? That was
Okay.
the primary thing, honestly,
Okay.
over and over again. What will we tell the kids? In fact, you can still see, I think like Atrios still occasionally will put a headline like, what will we tell the kids? That's where that came from,
Okay.
20 years ago.
Okay.
And this is a time where there's no social media.
Right.
I can tell you that, like, your kid's like 9, it's not hard to hide a lot of things from them. In this day and age, it's impossible to hide from a 9 or 10-year-old, the existence of Donald Trump,
Right.
if he's president. I mean, it's not even like his actions. It's just the way, what he projects, what he does. That moment where she talks about, like, do you really want, put policy aside, put everything aside, like, do you want your kids to grow up in a country where that guy is president? Like, what does that tell
What
your
do we
children?
tell our kids about making fun of people with handicaps? What do we tell our kids about insulting people? What do we tell our kids about rape accusations? I mean,
because you can hide from your kids drone strikes in Pakistan for
Yes.
the most part. You don't have to spend a lot of time hiding it. You just don't bring it up.
maybe you should at a certain point, but that's another question.
I've talked about it with my daughter, but
Right.
it's not like she's like, oh yeah, no, I know all about drone strikes, and she's not saying like, yeah, I'm reading The Intercept. She's 10.
Right.
But with Donald Trump, it's really like, it's like do you want your kids to watch R-rated movies?
Well, did she
as a
know
matter
day
course?
of or around the time when he made fun of the reporter with, what was it, muscular dystrophy? I don't remember what the guy's condition was, but was she aware of that pretty immediately?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I've told the story about how she has a friend who's Muslim,
Right.
who came into school, and her parents are worried. She has a fully formed opinion about Donald Trump that will, the idea that it's one thing, this is a guy running for president. It's another thing, like, this is the president.
Right.
And it's.
Well, do you remember that Ted Cruz ad, Sam? That was actually a pretty effective ad where the parents come in and they see their kids playing, and one of them starts saying like, "I'm Donald Trump, I'm a developer," and he knocks down the other people's blocks,
Right.
and like calls them losers, and they just are mortified, right? And they're like, "Would we find this behavior acceptable in your 8-year-old? No."
Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.